Didn't we do this before? Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Zatoichi's Vengeance, the second to last movie in the Zatoichi week this week. We just had a movie like 2 days ago called Zatoichi's Revenge. And I've been talking about this like this week, but with the fact that this series pumps out so many movies, just like go, 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 it's one of those cases where I don't know if they just like had to recycle ideas or ran out of ideas, but that how do you do it that close together? Like, if the movies had, like, a bunch in between, that'd be one thing. Like, 10 movies in between. Okay, fair enough, whatever. But this is, like, 2 movies apart. 2 movies apart, and you have Zatoichi's Revenge and Zatoichi's Vengeance. They mean the same thing. It's exactly the same title, just with a slightly different word. How do you do that? And if it's intentional, why? And I'm not saying the entire movie is the same, because obviously I haven't seen it yet. I don't know anything about the plot or whatnot. But you have a title that's pretty much exactly the same. It's really weird. I don't really know what to make of that. And considering I didn't like Zatoichi's Revenge, I don't know, it just automatically makes it questionable for me. I mean, that's not to say I won't like this one. It's always just kind of up in the air. With these movies, it's with so many being pumped out. I think I said this specifically last time. With so many being pumped out, it's like some of them you're going to love, some of them you're going to hate, some of them you'll be lukewarm on. It's just how it's gonna work, because since they're being pumped out like multiple times a year, there's no time to really work on the script and work on a proper progression of things. And because they're also quote unquote episodic, and they don't have an ongoing like narrative, it also basically has it so that you can watch them pretty much in any order. You don't have to watch them chronologically. I mean, outside of a couple random, rare occasions where there's continuity, there's, for the most part, none. And it's not about that. It's just, I guess, different stops on Zatoichi's journey. It's just random things. And so, when you just have 2 movies almost back to back that at least have the same title, that's concerning. Because it feels like you're recycling an idea here. Because the thing is, even if the exact plot is different, if the general idea about it is still about, like, you know, Ichi seeking vengeance stuff, it's still very similar, just by its nature, just by its concept. The actual plot may be different, but is it going to be different enough to be able to have this movie really stand out? That's what I'm worried about. That this movie's just going to feel like the other movie again. Even if the specifics of the plot are different. I don't know. I just feel like it's weird for them to do that. But they had to do something, I guess, considering they're pumping these out. I still wish, like, I don't think I was ever told. I don't know if anyone ever told me or ever knew or whatnot why these were pumped out so quick. Like why these movies? Because I believe the first one came out in '63, and this is like the 13th movie. And this came out. This was the first one to come out in '66, I believe. So it's like over 3 years, you have had 13 movies. Well, technically more because this is only the first to come out in '66. That's insane, right? Like, I can't be the only one who thinks that's insane. Because that means that they have had to write, they have had to, you know, get everything set up for. They have had to cast. They have had to record everything. They've had to do all of this for this many movies in this short amount of time, which means basically Shintaro Katsu has been working nonstop on these films. Like the instant he finishes one, he just goes right into working on the next. He doesn't get any breathing time, he doesn't get any time off. He has been like working on these films straight, completely, constantly. And that's wild to me. Because the very idea of this like would not fly, at least here in America nowadays. It would be seen as like unethical to to have like an actor working on all these different films in a row. And mind you, I know a lot of actors work on a bunch of different films at a time or like go between different films, but it's like they'll have breaks in between and stuff. They'll have like a few months here where they're just not working on anything, where they're taking a break. And with this, and I'm sure it was like by his choice as well. I'm sure he could have left the project at any time. But he was working on it again. Like he had to have been working on it without breaks, without stop. And that's wild to me. So, yeah, it's just I feel like the production of these films was pure insanity almost. And mind you, they're not super long films and they're not super complicated. They're very simple films. But still, it's like you kind of have to wonder if like there's any issues with like Shintaro Katsu like starting to like feel like he was becoming Ichi just because of how often he had to be in that role. It's like you're performing the role so constantly that it's like kind of messing like with who you are as a person. It's just like ugh. Cuz I've heard of people here in America, in American Hollywood cinema, who have portrayed characters for a long time, the same character for a long time, like decades and whatnot in movies. And they talk about how, like, oh, I'm tired of playing this character. I want to move on. I want to do other things. I don't want to be typecast. I love this character, but I've been playing them for too long. I've done too many movies with this character in it. And this is like over again, like a long time, years and decades and all. This guy is like doing this all in like straight in a row. Shintaro Katsu is doing all these performances back to back to back, and it's just like, what? I mean, I'm sure he loved the role clearly if he kept doing it, but would he not have been getting tired at all? Like physically tired from doing all this? I know I would. Like I wouldn't be able to handle doing the same thing for that long that constantly. And some actors probably could get away with it. And Shintaro Katsu might be one of them. But it just seems like an insane concept to me. I mean, the best I can hope for here, going into this movie, though, at this point, is that I hope that it's good. I hope that it does differentiate itself enough from Zatoichi's Revenge. And I hope that everyone working on it, like, had a good experience working on it. That's probably the best I can hope for here. But yeah. Also, little fun fact for you. Shintaro Katsu, I believe it was 1997 when he passed away. So, reasonably speaking, he could have watched Dragon Ball Z, and that is just hilariously funny to me. Because these movies are so old-fashioned, and they came out in, like, the 60s and everything, but it's like, they feel older, almost. So it's wild, the idea that the main actor in this lived to a point where he could have watched Dragon Ball Z. I mean, I don't know if he did. I don't know if he ever got into anime prior to his passing. But he could have. It's possible. He could have watched Dragon Ball Z or Sailor Moon or Macross or whatever other anime were out between, like, that time and his passing in 97. There were a lot of them. I just not thinking of any other specifics at the moment. Gundam. I mean, I guess you have to bring in Gundam. But yeah, it's like, it's just a funny idea to me. Because of how much older these movies seem. Because, you know, they started in black and white and they're set in an older era. It's just, it feels older than it is because of that. But anyway, I think this might be the longest pre-thoughts I've had for one of these movies this week. So let's just get into this reaction and hope for the best. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, I'm confused about a couple things here. First off, the title is completely inaccurate. Like, if you want to say, like, he was kind of getting vengeance for Kurobe, it's like, why? Why would he have been getting vengeance against Boss Gonzo for Kurobe? It would make more sense to say he was getting vengeance for the town. For, like, those at the Joshua Inn and everything. But it's like, even then, it never entirely came across that way. Like, you watch the movie Zatoichi's Revenge, and it's like, oh no, you get that. It's definitely vengeful. It's revenge. But this one's like, no... Not really. It's like, this is a very standard Zatoichi film. It's like, yeah, he's going against the Yakuza who are, you know, hurting this town and everything and bothering them and all. They have this guy who ends up being hired into to work for the Yakuza boss and ends up having this big climactic fight against Ichi. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of the standard stuff that you're used to with this series, especially the earlier entries. But it's not really in any notable way about Ichi getting vengeance on anyone. And on top of that, there's a couple storylines that are just kind of left unresolved. Like, first off, you have Ocho. Ocho is the sex worker who's at the brothel, and her entire thing is like she's very kind, but she's in a situation that she really hates and is not a fan of. Um, there's also this other girl who's working there who she ends up helping escape, which just goes perfectly well. Nothing more to report with that. But the samurai who ends up getting hired by after the fact by the boss Gonzo, is her husband or ex-husband, however you want to view it. She left him and has since been she renamed herself to Ocho, and has since been working here. And he's been searching for her, trying to find her and bring her back home. And he's not forcing her. He's not like being aggressive about it, but he tries to go get the 50 Rio to pay off her debts and everything, which she does receive in the end. But it's very clear that she has found no happiness. She has found no true resolution. She hasn't like found a good path for herself to go down, which is very unusual for these films to end with some of these characters that Ichi interacts with not having a proper ending. Because that's the thing. Usually, when there's like a girl like this in one of the towns Ichi visits, she'll usually have some level of happy ending. The people hounding her will be taken care of, etc., etc. And the only kind of exception to that is when the girl ends up like falling for Ichi, and nothing ever comes of that because he has to leave. But that in and of itself is kind of a closure to that storyline. With this, it's like it just feels like nothing really changed for her. Nothing really like got better. And it just feels off because of that. And I'm not saying it like as if it's this like really horrible bad thing. I'm not like acting like it ruins the movie or anything. It's just weird to see it end like that. And then on top of that, this movie had this entire kind of like subplot of this Biwa priest um telling Ichi that the way he's handling things is wrong, and that the influences he's putting on Taichi are going to stain him, are going to have this kid be, corrupted and everything, because Ichi's, resolving these disputes and everything with violence. But this is never really resolved either. It ends the same way any other Ichi movie ends, and the Biwa priest just kind of disappears. He just like stops being a character after a certain point. Nothing ever comes of Taichi being um corrupted by this. It doesn't amount to anything. It's a plot line, a plot point that is completely pointless. It doesn't amount to anything. It has no relevance on the story. And unless this is somehow going to be brought back in the future, which typically these movies don't do, then I don't see like why that was in there. Was it meant to just critique Ichi's like the way Ichi handles things? Because again, it's if it was, then it, fucked up at that. Because Ichi did nothing wrong. These are people who are attacking him. He is defending himself and others. And yes, he's using violence to do so. And yes, sometimes in front of kids. In one case in this film, he's even holding on to Taichi while killing these people, because Taichi stupidly ran up to him. But he did not have a choice. There's no way to resolve that peacefully when he's literally being attacked. He is defending himself. And while killing is never good, technically, it is excusable in the case of self defense or defense of others. If it is the only way to go, if it is the only thing you can do, if someone is coming at you with the intent to kill you, you have a right to defend yourself. And again, you have a right to defend others who are also in danger. Multiple times in this movie, these people were in danger. The old woman there, Taichi's grandmother, her life was being threatened. It's like Ichi did nothing wrong by defending them. This priest, he didn't end up being like an actual bad guy. He was just like just wrong. And I say that from like a moral and ethical standpoint. He was wrong. Because it's like, yeah, like I said in the reaction, kids are easily influenced, and seeing violence could get kids interested in violence. Yes. But I think as long as the kid has people raising him, they'll be able to realize the difference between things and not like just rush into violent situations like a crazy person most of the time. This kid kind of did, but also that seemed very like out of place and random. It seemed like it was just trying to like set up that idea. But again, it didn't even end up going anywhere. So it's like, it felt like the movie was trying to critique Ichi's way of handling things, but not actually putting forth any effort into it. Because it just, again, he was not in the wrong for doing what he did. And even if it did end up influencing Taichi, it's like he was still right to do what he did. He was still right to defend himself and others, and even if that included violence. It's just, yeah. I'm not one of those people who believes in pacifism at all times. I believe that sometimes violence is necessary. And again, especially in the case of stuff like self-defense. I'm not saying that, like, you should go out and like just randomly start killing people. God, no. But again, if you are being attacked and if your life is in danger, or the life of someone that you care for, or just any innocent person around you, you have not only a right, but a duty to protect them and yourself. It is the morally and ethically correct thing to do. Letting yourself be attacked and killed because you don't want to stain a child's view on things is fucking stupid. And it's not reasonable. So, yeah, it's just, I don't understand. Like, they were trying, I guess, but they just failed to send some kind of message with that. But, other than that stuff, like, the movie was good. It's like, I didn't have any problem with the pacing. There was some cool, like, cool effects and stuff they did with this one. They brought back, like, Ichi cutting, like, the candle, cutting the lantern and the candle inside, and then having the candle on his blade before, like thwapping it at the opponent and having it land on his head. That was fun. I like that they brought in the thunder drums and the usage of them as well. The entire battle on that bridge, the shadow battle on the bridge, was fucking awesome. Like, that was just really cool. It's like, there's a lot about this I love. And I love the townspeople who we got to meet. I like their stories and everything. I just kind of wish that it was finished with Ocho. I'm glad the other girl got out, though. Like, that's nice, but I feel like Ocho not having, like, any kind of, like, true closure to her storyline is sad, you know. Um, but yeah, it's like this wasn't my favorite Zatoichi film, but it's by no means my least favorite. It's just kind of somewhere in the middle, I think I'd say. But that leaves us with one final movie. Our final Zatoichi movie will be tomorrow, and as I said, I will announce in the afterthoughts of that video what the next movie night for May, the end of May, will be. And I know it's technically May already, but you know, it's the last week of the month and everything. So, the movie night for May will be announced then, and we'll just continue on with this plan. I'm excited to see what the last one is about and how it compares. We've gotten a very mixed bag this week because we got one movie that was one of my favorite Zatoichi films as of current. We got one that's one of my least favorite, and then we've got like a mixed bag for the others. That it's like, oh, it's like I like it, but it's not the best. And so I guess we'll have to see where the fifth and final one for the week goes. But thank you, as always, so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.